Welcome to The Cast, Episode 2, the place where we discover and talk about all things in the Welsh music industry. Today we are joined by Kaysha Louvain. Should we start by telling everybody a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name's Kaysha. I'm a singer-songwriter, and if you can't tell by my wonderful accent, I'm from South Wales.
I thought you were going to say you're a Manchester fan.
That's very clear. Yeah, I might lose some fans by wearing this.
Yeah. I'm not that into football, so it's pretty safe with me, so I wouldn't judge you.
Good. Thank you.
So, what exactly are you doing at the moment? What are you working on?
Currently working on the second album.
Okay.
Loved the first album. Myself and Jamie Harris worked on the first album, and we just formed a great relationship. So as soon as that was out, we started working on the second one. Due to other commitments and everything like that's going on, it's been a little bit longer than I wanted, but I chose not to rush it, let the songs come to me, and we're going to record kind of as we go on, rather than saying this is the deadline for album number 2.
Yeah.
We'll do a song, see what it's like.
Yeah.
I brought out the first single, Trouble, earlier this year.
I have heard it.
And do you like it?
Very good. I do.
Yeah,
I do.
Thank you very much.
I'll tell you what. I'll take you back a bit. So, So, how long have you been doing this then? How long have you been writing songs and performing?
I've been writing songs since I was probably 12.
Okay.
So about 16 years now. When I started writing songs, I went and recorded them as well.
Oh, okay.
So I was very lucky that I had really supportive parents.
So from that young age, you were recording at 12.
Yeah,
Wow.
recording at 12. I did my own music as well as cover albums at 12 as well.
Is it all out there in the public domain?
Possibly. I haven't quite checked whether it is or not.
I have to have a
But
search up.
it's on my auntie and uncle's playlist because I was at a barbecue recently,
Okay.
and all of a sudden my songs that I recorded when I was 12 decided to come on
Nice.
the playlist. So
So what would I suppose social media to look for that time would probably been Bebo or something, would it? Let's go back and have a look at the archives of Bebo, see if we can find Kaysha Louvain. So in terms of you've been writing and recording since you were 12 then, do you think like it's true what they say about like the 10,000 hour thing? Do you think you've had to like go, do you look back at the stuff you have done and think, is that like your worst stuff and now you've gone through that sort of...
I think so. There's a lot when you first start out. I'd probably say the first 5 years you're experimenting. You've got people in your year as well going, you should do this, you should do that.
Like parents and stuff. And
In all fairness, my parents are amazing, and they've never once said to me, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. They know I'm my own person, and I'll kind of eventually make up my own mind. But you do listen to people where there is people in the studio. I've had it before where I've wanted to blend country music and my love of 80s music, and I've gone into the studio and the engineers or the producers and the people you're working with have taken your songs in a completely different direction or emphasise certain bits. So
it's hard to say no in that setting as well. I think sometimes anyway, if there's like 3 or 4 people in a session saying...
Yeah, I think I was 18 at the time, and recording songs like Run to You and Encore Madame that I recorded, which they are unfortunately in public domain. They are very country.
Yeah.
And even though I really liked Run to You at the time, it's not me. It's very much not me. So you will go through all those things, and eventually you will find something.
Yeah.
That you know is your sound, and you've got to find the right person.
Well, you've performed years in the Foundry, and having heard you live, I can see there's obviously a really good relationship with you and Jam, and from somebody it was the first time I'd ever seen you live, you'd seem to really have that nailed down your sound, and the way you were going with it, and also I know that the people who came to see you that night were like really impressed that it was a different genre. It was like it wasn't, we've had loads of rock bands and we've had like singer-songwriter, just sort of acoustic Americana type thing, but you definitely took your own spin, especially with the full band production. I think definitely keep doing what you're doing, because I think that sometimes when you know yourself and you sort of fight off other people's opinions, I think sometimes it turns out for the best in the end, you know.
Yeah, I think, going back on, my relationship with Jamie, there's such a, a really good connection with us and knowing the direction that I want to go. He loves his 80s music as well, so if you look at the stuff he's currently bringing out, it's very 80s, but he also knows that I love country music, so there is a very good blend, and we take inspiration from your likes of Fleetwood Mac and
I would say
Sheryl Crow and
very much that was one thing that stood out from your performance. Actually, I was like, this is very Stevie Nicks, and like there was a lot of sort of like little moments in there which I thought very Fleetwood Mac. But in terms of your songs, and like having watched you live, I saw you speak a lot about sort of like influences and things on your music, and during the evening you mentioned like family members and all that sort of stuff. Is that where you take your inspiration from, do you think?
Yeah, I think so, because I kind of lead not a boring life, but I'm not, I don't drink anymore. I very rarely go out because of work commitments. So if I do go out, it's a very quiet family gathering or something like that. So nothing really exciting happens to me.
Yeah.
So then you've kind of got to look into other people's lives. And then recently I've been taking inspiration from TV shows, which I've never done before.
What sort of shows are you into?
Well, I was rewatching Charmed.
Okay.
So Charmed, I grew up watching Charmed. I was the late 90s, early noughties, and it's kind of when I was in primary school, secondary school, and I always loved the show, and I was rewatching it, and it's got great like late 80s, early 90s bands.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of taking inspiration of bits of that, and
so some of that feature in the new album?
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
Well, when I hear it now, I'll be listening out for those Charmed influences. So in terms of like your career so far, then what would you say like is a highlight that you've experienced so far?
I think first of all, BBC Radio Wales. I think getting onto the A-list is, this place, you see so many top class musicians, singer-songwriters come through the door, and this is they're only in Brecon or South Wales or Mid Wales. There are so many bands in Wales at the moment that are so good. So to be chosen in that 6.
Yeah.
And I've had 2 weeks, 3 weeks on these A-lists as well. So
is it more than once you've been on the A-list?
3 times.
3? Oh, okay, well.
Yeah, so The Crown was on there, Song was on there, and Trouble, the latest one, was on the A-list as well. So do it once and then do it 3 times. It's incredible. So that was definitely the first highlight, which led into then I sang on Wyn Evans's tour, which that was awesome. Which I did a Newbridge Memo, and then I worked with Mal Pope.
Yeah.
And I got a duet with Mal Pope. And it's kind of every little thing is leading into another and bringing other opportunities. So yeah.
So do you find that like with BBC Wales and say Mal Pope and as well, sort of stuff, do you feel like when you do get into those circles, if you make it onto the A-list and all that sort of stuff, is there like a continuation? Do you like stay in touch with people and do you become friendly with these people, and does that help further than things?
I think so, yeah. I think once you kind of break that barrier and they kind of see you, then yes, you will see more opportunities come your way.
Yeah.
But to make that first break is so hard, It's just BBC Radio Wales, it's not like the BBC One or anything, but it's to just even do it at that level. Yeah, it's so hard these days.
Well, I mean, it's still it's national recognised. Like I think one person that springs to mind is Bronwyn Lewis. Mm-hmm. Obviously, she went from singing on TikTok to I think she's got her own show on Radio Wales now as well. So I think it's it's really good that if that, as you say, things come together and people there is that sort of community forming in the Welsh music industry. I think that can only be a good thing, especially everybody's got their own networks and you never know where that sort of thing is going to go then. So I think it's a really good thing for the Welsh music industry in general, and it seems within reach as well. I think like with the social media stuff. you know, everybody's can put out. There's no sort of like middleman stopping you from however you put it out. Obviously, there's better ways to put it out than others, but I think having that accessibility to, you know, even just as simple as tagging BBC Wales in one of your posts or something, you know, it can be that easy.
Yeah, I think if you look back, you know, the 10 years kind of I've been writing and releasing music, you know, properly, you know, as a professional musician. I think getting onto these radio shows and getting people to hear your music is easier. I suppose streaming and things like that come into account.
And not Bebo.
And not Bebo. Unfortunately, no, I didn't have much luck with Bebo. But yeah, I think it is a little bit easier. Whether streaming and social media is the right thing for the industry, which I've had lots of conversations with.
Well, we could do a whole episode on that.
Yeah, I think you know we've recently spoke to, you know, a lot of indie labels and artists, what their opinion is, and it's very. I thought they would be just very one-sided and just be like, you know, streaming is ruining the industry, but
yeah,
you know, there's a lot of people are like, well, no, you know, people are listening to me in America and Australia, and
yeah.
you know, and
Well, I know there are bands releasing solely on vinyl. There are bands who you can't get their music any other way. I mean, that's brave. Like,
that's very brave.
You know, it's like you rely on, you know, the merch sales. You rely on the, you know, even CD sales. I know people still sell CDs, and sometimes I don't even think it's about how you access the music. Sometimes people just like something tangible to take away with them. So I think just to exclusively release on that, sometimes these bands not even like they haven't got a massive following yet. But people who feel strongly about the way streaming has an impact on the industry. I think sometimes if those fans feel the same way as the artists, then they are the ones who are going to purchase, you know, that sort of thing. So
definitely, I think I've done a run of CDs, but it's very. I think CDs are completely on the way out.
Yeah.
Now, you know, it's a lot of people don't have CD players in the house or in the car.
Yeah.
Whereas something like vinyl, people collect. You know, I've got a vinyl collection.
Yeah.
I don't listen to all the time, but as you said, it's something tangible. It's something to collect, and it's a nice bit of like memorabilia.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I remember like you remember when I was back at Cobra Music Studios in Newport, and we used to record like a lot of choirs and things, you know. So I suppose it's like horses for courses, because you know we would still sell packages of like 1,000 CDs and things, and people do sell them, you know. But I suppose it depends who your target market is for that. So, I mean, like I say, you could do a full episode on the streaming side of things, but
Yes.
you know, it's definitely had an impact. But whether it's positive or negative, I suppose is both arguments on both sides. Like, so in terms of your highlights on the opposite side, what would you say is like the hardest part of your journey so far?
I think it's been able to fund things, you know, as I'm a professional musician, I do it full time. So
Well, that was my next question. Is you are full time?
yeah, full time musician, so it's very hard. I made the choice to carry on doing cover gigs because it's a form of income. I still keep my craft to a high level. I've always had this conversation with many songwriters. If you want to gig your own music, but you're not doing it very often, it will show when you do a live gig that you don't do it very often.
Yeah, yeah.
I had a very good conversation when I first got on to BBC Radio Wales on the A-list with Ed Richmond, one of the producers. And he asked me about my background, and I said, yeah, I do cover shows. I said, I'm not ashamed to say, because there was always this stigma that singer-songwriters shouldn't be doing, you know, cover shows. And I'm like, I'm completely, you know, against that, because I keep my craft up. I know how to perform. I know how to capture an audience, you know, because I've done it for 12, 14 years now.
Yeah.
So that when I do my own show and I play my own music, I still know how to put on a show. Because you're guaranteed most places you go, they might have heard one song of yours, maybe two. Or, don't get me wrong, you'll have that small percentage that have heard all your music. But you've still got to find a way how to perform the songs to a high level. People want to come back to a show, want to, you know, purchase your music and that. So I do cover shows. I enjoy them. I do different venues, privates, corporates, and everything. So yeah, that's, you know, it's exciting. I like it, but
It's
you've got,
more of sort of like a financial thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know, you've got to do it to be able to pay, you know, for new music and things like that, because it's, you know, it's not cheap to find someone who's very good at producing the music.
Yeah.
You know, and then distributing and everything, which is lucky, obviously, Tiwn.
Yeah.
I got my own company to distribute, which is, you know, which is great, but there's still other financial things that have got to come into account.
Yeah. So let's talk about Tiwn. What is Tiwn?
So we're essentially a media company. We started off as Sound, which was a record label, and I joined as an artist. Then eventually started working, and then we made a decision then that we weren't getting the full benefit out of it ourselves as well as other artists when it was a record label. It was a few things, you know, we had too many people on the label, we didn't have time to do other things, so we made a decision to break away. And myself, Mike Kennedy and Craig Mapstone decided then to create Tiwn Media, where it wouldn't be a record label, it would be a media company. We would still work on PR and distribution, but also then we could focus on the things that we really love, which is live events, festivals, our magazine. You know, we do bits of photography and, you know, live interviews. So we essentially have become a one-stop shop for musicians.
So, like, you should probably point out as well that Tiwn is spelled Tiwn, and it's the Welsh version of it. Like in case people want to go and have a look at this afterwards, because I noticed you've got 2 pages online. There's the Tiwn Media and then there's Tiwn PR and plugin.
Yep. So essentially, it's run by, you know, the both of us.
Yeah.
Myself and Mike tend to run the social medias, and you'll find the same on Instagram as well. We've got Tiwn Media and Tiwn PR. But people can contact us on either one for kind of everything that we provide. And live shows and merch and whatever.
So in terms of Tiwn itself then, obviously we've just spoken about the cover shows and funding things and stuff. So why do you think it's important to have, I mean, you're lucky enough to have the media company for the distribution and all that sort of stuff. I mean, why do you think it is so important to have the likes of Tiwn for the distribution? I mean, as an artist who isn't on a label, you know, what's the benefits of that then?
I think it can be very daunting for an artist, because it's not only just recording a piece of music, putting it onto a distribution, and that's it. You know, there's...
Well, it's a campaign essentially, isn't it? It's like
exactly.
a beginning, a middle and end with a goal.
You've also then got to think of your PRS.
Yeah.
And things like that.
Yeah.
That I speak with artists now that they're in their 40s and they still don't know anything about PRS. They've never set one up.
Yeah.
And, you know, myself, Mike and Craig have got 50, 60 years plus.
Yeah.
Between us of, you know, industry experience. And, you know, we talk through anything with anyone if they need any help, as well as obviously doing the PR campaigns.
Yeah.
I know a lot of artists that really don't like putting together the EPKs, contacting, you know, stations and publications. I'm an artist that has, you know, 100% control over everything.
Yeah.
You know, I've always been a little bit of a control freak. You know, I just always have.
Do you find it better to be that way, for respecting your own experience?
I think it depends on how well you do it.
Like we just spoke about the studio side of things, where you have people like having an influence on your music.
Yeah.
In terms of like a release campaign and you know, deciding the destiny of where all your stuff goes. Do you think it's important? Like, because obviously a lot of people are self-produced now. A lot of people are recording it in their bedrooms and stuff like that. Do you think it's important to have that complete control? Or do you think it's better to have sometimes half of something than all of nothing?
I tend to have 100% control, except when I give my demos over to Jamie.
Okay.
Because him himself, he doesn't, produce or his own music, because we know that there'll always be something that we'll want to do to perfection, or we always want to change that thing. Sometimes you've got to let that control. So I always find that once I've done the demo, I'll speak to him about it and say, you know, these are certain bits that I want to keep through. This is we've worked together now for quite a while.
But he seems to be somebody who gets it. You know, so I suppose that comes down to a trust element then, isn't it? If you find somebody who you
Yeah.
trust with your music, maybe not so much to take over, but like just have an influence and a positive influence, you know.
I just give it over and go, this is the
Yeah.
song. Do what you want with it.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's never given me something back that I've gone, no.
Yeah.
You know, there might have been things like, yeah, but can you slightly change the intro? Can you put a little bit more reverb on? Or, you know, just normal things like that.
Yeah,
but as the way the song goes and the direction, I just let him carry on. But the other side to it, there's like the EPKs and the bios and the genres that you and the people you want to contact. I like to have control over that.
Yeah.
And when I work with artists, so artists come to us to run a campaign, I will always send the EPK to them, make sure it's okay.
Yeah.
We always ask for, you know, a bio that they've written or someone has written for them, because, you know, we don't want to be putting a bio out that an artist doesn't agree with, you know.
Yeah, sure.
So there's always a good element of probably 50-50 in the campaign. But, you know, as an artist yourself, I think you've got to find the right people that you trust. So
Well, I suppose you've got that empathy as well with when somebody comes to your tune and they, you know, they're looking to do the release campaign or even don't know where to start. I suppose like them knowing that you are an artist yourself, you are out there, you are doing it, you are going through the things that or maybe you've done the things they're starting to do.
Yeah.
You know, I suppose that's like a reassurance for them then to.
Absolutely, like Craig's a musician, I'm a musician, Mike's a musician.
Yeah.
You know, we're not business people.
Yeah.
We're not, you're trying to take people's money and not get them anyway.
Yeah.
Our one goal is to support, encourage, and just increase the number of artists releasing their music and get them where they want to go.
Yeah.
And obviously when we do speak to people, it's like, you're in good hands.
Yeah.
You know, we understand, you know, what you're going through, what you're trying to do, so people can trust us. And then they can trust us with every element that we offer. Because you might go to, as well, especially as a solo artist, because I know that with a band it might be slightly different, but as a solo artist you think, right, I want to do merch. So you try and look for someone to do merch. You can't guarantee that quality that's going to come back to you.
Fruit to the looms.
Yes, exactly. Do you mean I still have artists now that we've worked with previously. So we offer two different types. We offer print on demand or your normal bulk. Print on demand does not cost an artist anything. So we out with designs as well. Put them on our website. Once we sell something, the profits then are split between the artists and us. So then an artist doesn't have to fork out any money, because I know 250 quid, 300 quid.
Yeah.
You know, for a bulk order.
Well, and they could just be sat there, like our conversation about CDs, you know, it's like that. If
They're
you're
just-
not gigging.
They sat there, or you get them back and you're like, you know,
Yeah.
what quality is this?
Yeah.
Where when we order, it's Gildan soft style, lovely. Everyone who's ever had a t-shirt off us, like, it's so comfy,
Yeah.
so soft. That's what you want.
It seems like something petty, but I know like we have bands and artists here all the time, and like my little thing for bands and artists is I do like to try and support them. If there is merch, you know, as long as I can, I will buy, you know, a t-shirt or something.
Exactly,
you know, we've got a collection of CDs over there. My studio ceiling's full of t-shirts and stuff with people we've worked with, and it seems like nobody would ever sort of look at that detail. But those little things, I do sort of look at the, you know, the label and go, oh, you know, that's quite nice actually.
There's a couple that we've worked with, and we've said to them, you know, just if you want merch, just come and ask us. You know, if we want a bulk order, you know, we're a lot cheaper than a lot of other places as well, because we take very, very minimal profit on things. And I saw a band and they'd had an order through, and I just looked straight away at a picture on Facebook, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
And you could tell that I was like, because we would have taken the design and we would have, you know, made it a better, clearer, and you know, because if I'm doing merch, or you know, Craig does a lot of the design work for the merch and that. So if we are doing something, we want it the quality that we know that we'd wear.
Oh yeah,
or I want it for my merch. You know, we're not gonna just get a design or someone, slap it on a t-shirt and send it off.
Yeah.
Any other company could do that. That's
Yeah, sure.
not what we're about. But then I made the effort then to just message them and say, hello, come with us, and and we'll sort it out, and we'll get you some nice merch,
Great stuff. Cool. So, in terms of yourself, then, we talked a little bit about Tiwn, and you should definitely go and check them out as well, because Craig is Secret Postal Society, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
Online, and I think he actually stood in for somebody as support on your show, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, Katie Louvain.
Yeah. Somebody
got
couldn't.
stuck, so he jumped in.
And I know he played the Bell Lane stage last year at the Jazz as well, and fantastic. And obviously I know Mike as well, so definitely go and check out Tiwn Media as well. So in terms of yourself, then going forward for the next few months or whatever, I know we discussed a little bit about the second album at the start. So what are your hopes for the next few months? What's your sort of aims for the next album and things?
So I'm currently recording 2 songs. Like I said, I'm trying not to put timelines on everything, but there are a couple of songs floating around. Jamie's got them. He's getting married
Nice.
this month, next month, so I know he's got about 6 weeks off. So it's going to be a case of he'll finish the tracks before he goes, and then I'll go and record the vocals then in a local studio. And
so, just while we're on the subject, timelines then,
mm-hmm.
Do you find that a negative for you? Putting too much pressure on yourself?
Yeah, I think the first album, it was way too structured.
Okay.
Because I was constantly going, I need this out here, I need this out here. But when I released the first album, it was under sound. So I wasn't completely in control as well.
Okay.
I had to give 6 to 8 weeks to someone else so they could upload it to make sure we get all the campaigns. Now when I'm doing it all myself, I can be a little bit more relaxed about it. I would like to have a bit more of a tighter schedule, rather than it just be really loose and just September sometime, or December, it might be next year. But the work we're doing with Tiwn at the moment, it's so busy, and as I said, there's only 3 of us.
Yeah.
And we're trying to keep up with everything, with live shows, my own gigs, the Tiwn work.
So I know you're doing quite a lot of Newbridge Memo at the moment, aren't you?
Yes, Newbridge, we got band nights, tributes, we had the fantastic Siglo there.
They sounded great.
Which, they were incredible.
Yeah.
It's an amazing afternoon, so we trialled it. We trialled a Sunday afternoon, because, what do people do at us 2 on a Sunday, So we trialled it, we had a great, I think we had 70 people there. It was just awesome. And straight through the show, I was just walking around, 'cause I was taking photos of the show as well, and people were stopping me and were just come here and back. I was like, yeah, we'll sort it for the next, maybe end of the year next year. No, next week.
Oh, okay.
So they were incredible. And our band nights, original music, which, like yourself, very important to have in venues. And we got tribute nights as well, because that's what the people want. So, we're very happy. I just want to bring live music to Newbridge Memo. So
in terms of that balancing act, then there's, like you're saying about, so there's your cover shows, your original music stuff. Then you're working with Tiwn. You're putting on shows with the Newbridge Memo. Some of those are band nights, and some of those are tributes. It seems to be a feature where, myself personally, I performed for 10 years, and I did most of that was covers, and sometimes I would throw in a few of my own songs, which I never even released, because I was so used to doing covers. In the end, that was basically what I did for a living. And my sort of fool thing, even from school age, I guess, was I just want to make a living from music. I don't really care what it is, and now it's brought me to a music venue, but so it's it's almost like people set their own goals themselves, but almost you sometimes you can find yourself in a situation where you're doing something you completely don't want to do anyway. I think it was Jim Carrey. His dad was a really funny guy, but he never went into comedy, and he chose a safe job or something, and got fired, And like, there's a really famous quote from Jim Carrey that says like, you can fail at doing something you don't want to do, so you might as well try what you do. So, you know, so it's like that sort of, for me, it was always like that, wanting to, you know, just make a living from music type thing. So in terms of that balancing act at Newbridge Memo, are you finding there's a good balance? And what's that sort of ratio between original and covers music?
We started off with a band night, original music, once a month. And we just found that didn't work. But we knew it would be a work in progress. We knew that we'd have to make sacrifices here and there and change the way we do it. So we've tended to drop in a little bit of the tribute nights, and we had Siglo. So that's getting better, but at the moment it's difficult. Like you said, you can't sell the original music at the moment. So what we are trying to do, because it costs a lot of money. You know, that's the simple fact is it costs a lot of money to put on a show. Yeah. You know, people might say, you know, £5 to watch 3 bands is too expensive. But when you factor in everything else, as far as sound engineers and people, security on the doors and everything like that, then we still not making a profit. We're sometimes not even breaking even.
Well, I mean, it's easy for, like, us, I suppose, as music promoters to say, like, £5 to watch 3 bands, you nuts. You know, like, that's nothing, type thing. But things are tight, you know, people are...
Absolutely.
But I think in terms of, like, the original music type thing, people, if somebody was on BBC Radio Wales, like, I know that was a selling point for your show. People saw BBC Wales A-lister. Yeah. Oh, my God, we'll go to that. But I saw something a few weeks ago. So the CEO of Music Venue Trust is, like, doing his damnness to try and get £1 from every stadium to a gig. Like, Coldplay is an example. He's trying to get £1 from every ticket sale to go to Music Venue Trust to help grassroots music venues. And one statistic Music Venue Trust put on their social media a few weeks back was something like, in 97 or 98, something like that, Coldplay did a tour of grassroots music venues in the UK, 58 gigs or 58 dates or something like that. And it was like, now they are playing stadium tours and 6 of them are still going. 6 of those grassroots music venues. They reckon it's like one a week or something in grassroots music venues, which, you know, I sort of think to myself, you know, when's there art? You know, you sort of like look at that statistic and it's scary. So,
absolutely.
I mean, so like back to the question of like the original and cover bands, you know, I don't think you can mix the two either, because like I've had shows here where I've put a covers band as the main act at the end and then support acts, but people come to a gig expecting a particular thing. So if like you put Americana, then you put country music, and then you put the headliner as a rock band, that doesn't work as a bill. So like, how, you know, do you think there's a way to...
We've tried to kind of section it out, so we'll have a rock band night, you know, where it's all original, you know, music, and that kind of works, because you get kind of fans and, you know, followers of one band will see another band that's in a similar genre, and you're almost guaranteed that they will enjoy that other band. But in terms of cover artists, so we did Tiwn Fest this year, and it was all original music. Yeah. In all fairness, we had a decent turnout. We broke even, which on pretty much on the first festival. Yeah. You can't ask for much more than that. And it was all original music. We had an acoustic stage, main stage, and we mixed genres all day, and that was incredible. But I had one note of a couple of people saying, could have done with a cover band. Right. You would have got more people in if you'd had a cover band.
I get this all the time.
And I'm like, but it's not a cover festival. You can have, you know, Glass and Selfie. Yeah. You know, I know it's a charity festival. Yeah. But, you know, Jane has thousands of people turn up because it's cover bands and tribute acts. If you want to go and see that, you know, that's fine. Yeah. You know, we are trying to put on a festival that's in Newbridge, in villages, where you don't have to pay a ridiculous amount of money to go to Cardiff. Yeah. You know, because it's not just a ticket in Cardiff, it's train, it's drinks, it's everything. Yeah. Instead, you know, you can come to Newbridge and see the same quality, but you spend less money because it's local and you can walk or grab a cheap taxi and, you know. that's our aim, is to bring that quality that you see in Cardiff and Newport, but bring it up into the valleys.
Yeah. So it's exactly the same as this place, really.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, rural place. But so yeah, so I think it's a tricky one with that sort of like, how do how you balance that ratio? I'm yet to speak to anybody who knows, you know, so I don't, you know.
I think we're trying. We're putting on. It's difficult for us to put on a cover band, a normal pub band, because of the expenses. The room, it's a 300 kind of capacity room, and we'd have to charge something on the door to pay for the band and staff and everything, and people wouldn't pay when they can just go to the pub and see them.
Yes.
But tribute acts, I think they're going well there. Yeah. I think that works. And
it's almost like you're saying about the cover things for yourself as your own shows to sort of like to fund the other things. Yeah. It's almost like having those nights that work financially, having a few of those enough to support the original music.
I think it's been 8 months. I think we've been doing things at Memo, and I think we've figured out a plan.
Yeah.
Where it'll be probably 5 to 6 nights.
Yeah.
Of original band nights, and then we'll fill in the rest then with whether it's like the Siglo, so we'll have like a swinging Sunday afternoon. And we'll
be careful who turns up to that one.
Yeah, we'll try and market that
swinging
one, right?
Sunday in Newbridge, everyone will be there. Brilliant.
Hey, people turn up.
Yeah.
You know.
So in terms of like the bands, then you got like young bands, is it, or
everything? To be honest, is we've had very fresh, 16, 17, 18-year-olds come and play.
It's really good that you've got that platform for like younger bands, to perform and all sorts of stuff.
I did a show, I think it was January, and on mine, there was a very, very young band from Swansea.
Yeah.
And they were 18.
Okay.
I maybe performed a handful of times. I headlined Frankie Wesson, which is another great musician.
Yeah.
Top quality band. Was on just before me then. So the young girl then that was performing maybe a 5th show or something could see, you keep at it and...
Well, it's like they're adopting of audiences as well for the evening, sort of
exactly.
Thing. So what, in terms of Tiwn itself then, what's Tiwn doing with regards to like younger bands and things then?
So we've got a Tiwn Academy.
Okay.
We've started doing primary schools. So we go into primary schools and we do a songwriting workshop. Myself and Craig go in on the one day and we just write songs for them. It's very, very like kind of easy concept. We go in, we write whatever they want to write about.
Yeah.
I think last week we wrote a football song because that's what the kids wanted to write.
Don't lie. What you want to write about?
Actually, I did say to them though, because I was like, right, I love my football. I said we can write a football song,
but not about Liverpool.
But no teams. It can't be any teams involved because that would stress me out. And in all fairness, they didn't. It was all about team spirit and whatever. We've done loads of year 6, so we've done their leaving assembly songs. And it's great. The kids absolutely love it. We have one day there, and then we go in a couple of weeks later, and they record all the vocals. And at the end of it, then they have a music video.
It's brilliant.
The song.
We did the same thing last week. We had primary school year last week, and do you know Dean Yannell, the beatboxer? Mm-hmm. Great guy. He's been doing a lot of really good things for schools and music, and obviously promoting beatboxing as well. Met him a long time ago, and to see sort of what he's done with the groups, and particularly sort of people who are normally less engaged in the normal class activities. I mean, I found myself doing workshops that you find anybody who's got additional learning needs or anything like that, they're the people who really benefit from those sorts of things. They sort of come out to themselves, and it's I've done songwriting workshops on key issues with councils and things, like loan sharks, knife crime, all that sort of stuff, and you get all that. But even just the process itself, I think, allowing them to individually give ideas. One, they feel like they're being heard and they're being included in the thing, wherever the topic is. but I think they get so much more out of it than just the music. You know, it's like those chance, like you saying about writing songs from a young age, at the age of 12 and things. The chance to be able to do that when you're not musically inclined, I suppose, like it's, you know, it's part of the bigger thing, especially recording and doing the video at the end and things. So what happens then after that? Is the Tiwn Academy then solely the schools, or is it you?
So we are working on a couple of things. We eventually want to go into comprehensives, which will be tailored differently. We've been speaking to a few colleges, again tailored differently, and then we will have like an 18 to 25
Cool.
kind of pathway.
Good stuff.
So it's all a work in progress. We've got a fantastic idea that we are currently working on with funding, to kind of expand it to be out of school hours.
Yeah.
So it'll be in the evenings and a weekends thing as well. So that is something that, like I said, really passionate about, because I had the luxury of having parents who were musically inclined. You know, my father, you know, he plays drums and sings and keyboard and guitar. You know, and my mum's a singer, so I grew up listening to music, playing music, had instruments in the house.
Yeah.
So when I said I wanted to become a singer and I wanted to become a performer, there was like a okay.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Not like an alien with two heads, like, well,
Yeah.
you know, proper job.
But we, in all fairness, I've never had that, which is really good.
Yeah.
But then you've got these children that we go into, the schools that we go into with the children that have never seen an instrument. You know, they've never picked up an instrument, they've played an instrument. You know, and it's, as you said before, going into schools and having that, whether there's one child or a few children that won't engage in a maths lesson, you know, guaranteed to be sitting outside of the class. We had one recently, behaviour was that bad that the school wouldn't allow him to take part. But he saw what we were doing.
Yeah.
And he came into the room, sang a song, and he was brilliant. And then what he wants to do.
It's brilliant. Like I say, it makes it all worthwhile, and like the, you know.
And we'll have teachers going, you know, so-and-so, they don't pay attention, and you add their attention from 10 o'clock until 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
You know, they're baffled by, and I was like, that's what music can do. Yeah,
but I really like the way sometimes now, like, I go back to Dean Yanel, it's like, he actually goes into the school now and relays that information to the teachers. You know, so then the teachers got more stuff in their armoury as well. Like I say, I think it all really helps. So I'm gonna wrap up there. I feel like for episode 2, I think I could just carry on talking for ages, like really informally about this. But now we are going to show you a little bit of Kaysha Louvain in action. So thanks for tuning in. There will be episode 3 coming soon, so look out for that. And thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me. Days are slow, the nights are long. The night